Hello, my name is Juliana Stauffer, and today I will be presenting my research and analysis of the prevalence of mood episodes and depictions of bipolar disorder in film and television shows. So this is the poster, and then the first thing we're going to get into is the abstract. The film and television industry is generally regarded as sensationalizing the portrayal of mental illness. My research specifically looks at bipolar disorder. So what I did is I analyzed 27 known depictions of bipolar disorder in film and television shows, and I conducted analysis of all of those, and I compared the frequency of their mood episodes in the percentage of mood episodes in the general population. And I kind of saw whether or not those percentages aligned. First thing I'd like to do is explain bipolar disorder itself. There are three types of mood states. There is a manic state, a depressive state, and a hypomanic state. And then there's also euthymia, which is no mood episode present. So a depressive state is characterized by a depressive mood, suicidal ideation, etc. And then a manic state is characterized by an increase in goal-directed behavior that is characterized by occupational and social dysfunction. And then hypomanic state is also an increase in goal-directed behavior, but there is no decrease in social or occupational function. So if we look at these two graphs, we can see that the majority of the time spent ill is going to be in a depressive state for individuals with both bipolar 1 and bipolar 2. And the difference between bipolar 1 disorder and bipolar 2 disorder is that for bipolar 1 disorder, it is required that the individual experience a manic episode. For bipolar 2 disorder, individuals cannot experience a manic episode. Instead, it is characterized by a mix of hypomanic and depressive episodes. So looking at the rate of unipolar mania, which is when individuals with bipolar 1 only experience manic episodes, that statistic is found to be 16.3% of the population of people with bipolar 1 disorder. So the vast majority of people with bipolar 1 are going to experience depressive episodes. And then we also look at the year prevalence of rapid cycling. Rapid cycling is defined as the presence of at least 4 mood episodes in 12 months. So that's rapidly switching between different mood states. So that's going to be 5 to 33%, while lifetime prevalence ranges between 25 to 43%. When we look at the lifetime prevalence of bipolar spectrum disorders, we see a 0.6 for bipolar type 1 and 0.4 for bipolar type 2. So next I'm going to get into the methods. So these are the 27 film and television shows that I analyzed and included within my content analysis. So you can pause and you can read those if you like. And so each of these film and television shows underwent a content analysis to identify if the character spends a majority of their time in a major depressive state or a manic state. And then diagnostic criteria included in the DSM includes time that an individual has to spend in that specific mood state. We are not going to be counting that in this analysis. Instead, we're going to be looking for a sufficient attempt on the filmmaker's behalf to portray a major depressive episode or a manic episode. We want to look at whether or not the individual spends a majority of their time in a manic state. So in terms of the prevalence of manic, hypomanic, and depressive episodes, 25 out of 26 of the depictions analyzed exhibited a clear attempt to portray a manic episode, while 14 out of 26 exhibited a clear attempt to portray a major depressive episode. 19 out of 27 of the characters analyzed spent more than half of their abnormal mood periods in a manic state versus a depressive state. So there is a focus on manic states over depressive states. When compared to the real world of experiences of people with bipolar disorder, there does appear to be a very clear overrepresentation of manic states. Next, we look at rapid cycling. So 7 out of 26 characters in film and television exhibit rapid cycling mood states. This number is comparable to the actual population of individuals who do experience rapid cycling. However, 6 out of 7 of these characters experience a major depressive episode, while only 1 of these characters were unipolar manics that experienced rapid cycling. We see that 6 out of 7 of these depictions were television characters, only 1 was a film character. So film characters appear more likely to stagnate in a manic state, whereas television characters are more likely to experience yet rapidly cycle through both manic episodes and major depressive episodes. The next thing we look at is hypomania, and only 1 character out of 26 experienced hypomania and depression. So only 1 character out of 26 was an individual with bipolar 2 disorder. Bipolar 2 disorder is only diagnosed slightly less than bipolar 1 disorder. And here we only have 1 out of 26 people with bipolar 2 disorder. Bipolar 1 disorder is far overrepresented compared to bipolar 2 disorder. So next, we want to get into discussions and conclusions based on these statistics that we found in the analysis. There is a clear pattern in the portrayal of bipolar disorder to overrepresent manic depressive states versus major depressive states. As we looked at before, the vast majority of individuals with bipolar 1 and bipolar 2 disorder are going to spend the majority of their time spent ill in a depressive state. And this is not what we see in film and television. We do see a clear overemphasis on manic states versus depressive states. I hypothesize that the basis for this pattern lies in the conventions of narrative storytelling, which I will get into in a minute. In discussing the conventions of narrative storytelling and how it might contribute to this effect, screenwriters basically have an obligation to construct active versus passive characters. An active character is a character who is constantly in pursuit of their goals, and a passive character is one who things happen to. They do not make things happen. Characters in a manic state are constantly exhibiting goal-directed behavior. So they are constantly in pursuit of their goals, and they also are constantly having obstacles that fall in the way of their goals. The manic state is characterized by a state of action. These are active characters. In comparison, depressive states are characterized by a state of inaction. These characters are confined to their beds, they don't want to get out, and they definitely do not want to participate in goal-directed activity. In terms of rapid cycling, the characters switch from manic states to depressive episodes almost instantaneously. These screenwriters do not want these characters to stagnate in a major depressive episode because they are not constantly in pursuit of their goals. And then when we look at lack of depictions of bipolar 2 disorder, there's a couple reasons for this discrepancy. The most probable one is that the manic state is the most recognizable state in bipolar people. So if a viewer looks at a character with bipolar 2, they might not really recognize that as bipolar depression. And also because hypomania is not characterized by social and occupational dysfunction, they're less likely to experience obstacles that might get in the way of their goals. Obstacles are very crucial to the nature of narrative storytelling because that is kind of what makes a plot interesting. So that is all, folks. These are my references, and I look forward to speaking with you guys and answering your questions at the Q&A session.